Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Open Discussion Podcast. I have a very special guest. I got to change that intro, man. He's VIP. He's a celebrity to me, if you ask me. You know, Mr. JayR, a very phenomenal brother, man. Very phenomenal brother. Top 50 keynote speaker. He's a bestseller, an author, life coach, a mentor, uh, business consultant, three combat rotations. So just for you guys out there, three combat rotations. Were awarded the Bronze Star for his action within combat over 14 years of military service. The doctoral student, business owner, as I said, he's doing a lot. I was just talking to him earlier when I first got on. Everything he's done so far, I mean, he's doing a lot of things in terms of his public speaking and motivational speaking and information and just educator. Doing a lot within the community, both, in terms of his original statement across the entire continent U.S. If you don't know who he is, if you're not following this man, you are living under the rock. I mean, he has a lot going on, but I just got one problem with him, as I expressed him earlier. As an old 13 series myself, he's a 13 Fox. I'm a 13 Bravo. I don't know how you got why, man? Why 13 Fox, brother? What's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm good, man. First of all, thank you for the introduction, man. I'm humbled. I appreciate it. And, thank you for just taking time to have, your platform. And, what I'm saying, I'm just ready to do what we got to do, man. But 13 Fox, it was a wild road to get to in the Army, leaving California, first of all. So I didn't know what a 13 Fox was. I just needed to leave the Army. I mean, leave the California, Long Beach, and get somewhere where I could be stable. And, I left one war in, California, and I joined another war. Because soon as I joined, we went straight downrange.
Yeah, I appreciate you, man. You have a very unique story, unique background. We all do. I came from a different place, grew up differently. But your story is very unique, and you are a good storyteller for folks who follows you, who watch your speaking engagement, the things you've said so far, just the motivation. But your story is very inspiring. I'm not gonna lie to you because I watched a lot of them and try to follow the best way that I can. But most importantly, the impact you have in the communities. And I guarantee you, what you're doing, believe it or not, is having an impact on some people because your story is very authentic. It's very real. There's no gimmick about it. You were just a decent person. That's what it comes down to. You're doing things that you're very passionate about. So I just want to jump into it, man. Your decision to serve, since I already have a problem with you being a 13 Fox. I know who the hell fool you do that there on MOS. But what was the overall meaning, decision really, when you came in, I want to leave California, leave my current situation, and then go and serve. What was the contributing factor of that?
Well, after the towers fell, I saw a way out, and I wanted to join the military. And my dad wanted me to go into the Navy, so I was rebellious.
Not the Navy, please.
Yeah, he wanted me to just go do something, right? I going to jail, and I getting out of jail, and they gave me an ultimatum going to the military, and I left. No, with MOS, I didn't even, like right now, they'll tell you, they'll break it down. Whatever you put on paper, I'm going with it. So I did what I had to leave. I left. They cut my braids off. I had braids. I was in California gang banging, just doing wild stuff out there. And I left one war, you know what I'm saying? Went into the military, and that's when it changed my life. The military really took me to the point to where I'm at now, to start the shell of me becoming the man I am now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's pretty unique because for folks who've been out, not only use the term the street, but folks who live a life that you live in terms of the things you were doing, the things you were exposed to, different sets of rules. The military, different sets of rules. How were you able to transition from where the thing that kept you alive, that kept you surviving, navigating the streets, in California? Now you have a rule-based organization, not seeing where you were and had no structure, but now it's a little bit different now. They're telling what you're going to do, what you're going to wear, what you're going to eat, the whole. How was that transition for you into the military?
It was hard. The training, I almost got kicked out of basic training because of fighting and just being a rebel and not conforming. It wasn't easy, bro. It didn't like, okay, after 9 weeks, you're good. Nah, we was in there thugging. Joined July 23rd, 2002. So imagine around that time, the platoon and into like it wasn't like it is now.
Yeah.
It did when I first came, and I was like, man, I don't want to be here, man. And then I started meeting people from all over the world. So I'm like, these is the same Alabama, Georgia, North Carolina, Wisconsin, Australia, all these people, like all these men, right? So I was in Fort Sill. So I went to boot camp in Fort Sill, went AIT in Fort Sill, and then learned a lot out there and just trying to conform. And then my last big fight I had in basic training, my drill sergeant Climbs pulled me to the side. He said, man, we're gonna send you home. You don't want to go. And I cried. I was like, I don't want to go home because I knew home
You know what it's all about, right?
So right then and there, after that, I got it together, and after I graduated, I wasn't top of my class. I didn't. I just wanted to get through. And then they sent me to. I got stationed in Germany, Schweinfurt, and that's when
Mm.
my life changed.
That's amazing. One of my best assignments was Germany, man. I was over at Grafenville.
Graph, you were Bill sick and graph, okay?
Yeah, I was a grad. Every time I said I was a grad, I'd be like, what grad? You know, because folks over at Wiesbaden and different places, Ramstein, enjoying a better life up there, but we was over at grad getting it in. So my experience at basic training a little bit different. Like you, I did both basic and AIT because, of course, we branched, FA. So I did both basic and AIT during the summertime. No, during the wintertime.
Yeah.
Remember, I just came from Africa, fresh off the boat, man. I was like, Jesus Christ, what the heck am I doing here? The weather was crazy. It's red on your face, but it was a good experience, as you said. Changed my life as well. For you, graduate basic training in AIT, now you Germany, you are in the regular army now because things are a little bit different. And
Yeah.
in Germany, whoever been in Germany know it hot. It's crazy up there. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I would like to explore really, some defining moment in your career in terms of in the military. For me, one of my defining moments, there was many. But what really changed my trajectory was when I decided to go to airborne school and gas station down 82nd Airborne Division. Everything changed for me. I mean, a lot of deployments you did, a lot of combat deployment, a lot of things you were involved with in terms of you serving different capacity, different leadership position. But what was some defining moment for you that kind of shaped your trajectory for your military career?
Yes, just let me try to see. It was really combat because right after I got to Germany, we went to Bill Second Grab to train, and right after that, we went straight to Iraq, and we did 13 months over there. So that was a real
Mm.
moment right there. I thought I was gonna get out of the military today. Offered me a bonus, and I didn't want to. I didn't want to. Yeah,
Show me the bag, right? All
yeah,
right,
yeah.
no problem. We can talk there.
Yeah, even in war, I re-enlisted tax free, got the
Yeah.
bag because I wasn't ready to go home. So I re-enlisted in '04. I still got the picture with Colonel McClendon and right on the fob. And then right after that we had more missions. So what I'm saying, doing all that stuff. But that was my defining moment was my first deployment because I was around the time when we had to burn poop. So
Yeah.
I was a lower soldier where I had to
Ooh.
burn feces and then JP8 oil and stir it and all these things that was humiliating. Then do missions on top of that, and then if you the lower rank, you got KP duty. You got all these things. There was no defect. There was no bathrooms. There was no places to sleep. We slept in a hangar. So that was the first deployment. It was wicked out there. So just learning. We was at 5 Summerall. So learning, going through all these things, seeing all the missions. It was real life stuff. I'm 1920, so I'm like, what is going on? People dying. We call it for fire. We in mix ups. We doing all these crazy things, different missions every day, and just learning, man. And then on top of that, driving from Kuwait to Iraq with
Yeah.
bags at our feet, no doors, driving 36 hours in a chalk. That it was just crazy, man. People don't talk about them stories. They talk about the elite, the Rangers. Okay, what about the guys before that? Like
Mhm.
before joined all that stuff and did all these things. Those we are them kids. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, you are absolutely right because I experienced this. We drove from Baghdad back to Kuwait when we redeployed,
Yeah,
2003 when we first deployed. They drove from Kuwait to Baghdad and Black drove back from Baghdad to overall Kuwait. And you were absolutely right. Folks don't talk about just the day-to-day grind in being deployed. If
yeah,
you don't mind, just to explore that for a second because there's a lot of component that comes to being deployed, right? Not just stress of deployment, but the brotherhood, the friendship, because now you're in the situation to where I do believe it's just me. If all Americans could at least serve 1 or 2 or 3 years in the military, we'll have different perspective on life. Because now you go on patrol, you being a far observers, with the infantry guys, a different operation. It doesn't matter who around you, what he or she looks like, what it sounds like, what it feel like. At the end of the day, you gotta have each other back. You know what I'm saying? And I've seen a lot of things you talk about your military career and your experience, and I know you love the military. I can tell because the things you post, the things you talk about. What was it for you for the military where it came a time where you say, something, I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep serving. I'm gonna keep, something my brothers and sisters in overall arms. What was it for you?
it's kind of like that Kobe saying like job not done, and I felt
Mm,
like job was not done with my physical, but I was I didn't know deteriorate. I was deteriorating mentally because of all the things we were seeing. Right, we
yeah,
wasn't allowed to mourn. We wasn't allowed to do a lot of things, and then going back home and those who had families and I had children at that young age,
yeah,
so we were spilling that over to them. But I still wanted. I didn't want to go home because I had nothing to go to.
yeah.
Right, so I was like, I'm not going back home because when I come home, I'm celebrated, but I gotta leave to go back to my military post. I don't want to stay here too long. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, everybody experiences the same thing. Every time You take leave to go home, you be like, nah, I'm going back, man. This ain't gonna work. It's not gonna work. You saw a lot.
Yeah.
You did a lot. Did it have any negative impact on you as a person? The things you saw, the things that you were exposed to, the things you were associated with. You don't have to go in a deep conversation about it, but did it have any impact on you? And if it did, how were you able to really navigate that in terms of seeking assistance or talking to somebody, whatever the case may be?
For the earlier years, it had a lot of impact, but I don't think we was allowed to show it because if you
Yeah.
showed it, it'll put you in S3. So I
Sign of
think
weakness, right? Yeah.
kind of weakness. He don't want to be in the field with us. We won't put him in S3. You know what I'm saying? Especially, and then, you start seeing the older E7s, E8s that they lock in S3 and E6 is the ones that didn't conform to the guys that was in the field. So the biggest thing for us was not going to S3. We don't want to go there. We could do
Okay.
battle staff, but I'm not going to work in the talk. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna learn. I'm gonna do my hurt. I'm gonna be on the gun. I'm a
Yeah.
gunner. Dismount, whatever I need. I'm not going in that talk.
Just not
So
an S3 shop. Mm.
to talk about that. I was like on the strongest survive really, and then to a point to where I start seeing the guys that were good guys that was just tapping out, and I'm like, what's going
Yeah.
on? And this is 2, 3, 4 times to Iraq. Like, what's going on? And then I just started to say, you know what, this is not right. Doing all these crazy things and wanting to still be here, it's not right. We left the wire. Like my missions, we would leave the wire every day. Maybe one truck could take a day off, but we'll leave the wire every day. So probably out of 7 days a week, we would have one day off to reset, get the truck good, work out, eat something, and then what I'm saying, get back on the missions, get on a trip ticket.
Yeah, that's one thing a lot of folks don't really understand. You just made a real good point. You were so involved in the mission, always going out. You just really got really immune to it. Like, okay, we going out. It was just natural for me. I felt more comfortable out there. I mean, back in the States when I deployed. And just a constant rotation. You deploy, do your time, you come back, reset, refit, you back into. You don't have the time really to sit there and really reflect on what took place. It is a lot, and I do believe the Army have done well to some extent. It can do better, in terms of taking care of service members, because it's the reason why we have a significant spike in suicide. It's happening. A lot of brothers and sisters are going through a lot, and folks don't really get to see that. And I appreciate you bringing that up in terms of the things you were exposed to. You do your time, and now you see, something I got to do something else. You got to transition. I love to talk about transition because for me, I had a terrible, terrible transition just because I did not set the right condition for myself. I had a preconceived notion. I'm a CNI commissioned officer. I got some experience. I got a couple of degrees, and I think it's going to be okay. And it was a shock for me. So, how was your transition, and what was that decision for you to transition?
Well, I started to think about it because the people don't understand, military is one thing and mental health dealing with that. But on top of it, I'm an African American soldier, so I'm also dealing with racism. People don't talk
Yeah,
about that. With leaders that don't want me to lead, I'm dealing
yeah,
with um, um, first sergeants and commanders that didn't want me to even be there. So out of my
mm,
community in 13 Fox, you're a token black guy, really. So you're people know who you are. You got to stand up for yourself. You got to do your job twice as good, twice as hard. PT, shoot, all that, or what I'm saying, they're gonna get rid of you. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So I can name how many black soldier men that I know that served with me, and that's what I'm saying. It was a problem. So I started to deal with the communities like that in my battalions. And then I got sent to Korea. My last tour in Iraq was we did some crazy stuff, but it was a shit show because I had already had 2 or 3 deployments underneath my belt. Telling the people that never deploy, especially these young lieutenants and XOs that were coming in thinking they knew things, and the guys like us that's been dipped in fire. We got the combat patches. We've been here. Let us teach you. I
yeah,
got into one XO. And what I'm saying? He made me basically, that's when I knew mentally I wasn't right because Obama was getting elected into the president's office, and they were talking crap about him, and I had to step up and say, hey man, that's our commander in chief. This is,
yeah,
regardless of your political stance, this is our commander in chief. Let's do the right thing. We're
hmm,
giving these soldiers preconceived notion to just say whatever they want to say. That's not right. And I'm standing up, and I'm a non-commissioned officer, staff sergeant to be exact. From there, I got they took my weapon, isolated me, and
mm,
made me feel like they didn't talk to me for the last like 6 months of that tour. So I was by myself. Got a Bronze Star that tour, but not in formation. Here you go. We didn't want to give it to you, but you did this and this and that. So
mm.
here, this right here. So that's why I talk about it like that, the Bronze Star, because I got it in combat. I did my job. I did a hell of a job. But when I spoke up for myself, I got shut down. So then after that tour, I got orders to Korea, and everybody knows what happened in Korea. When not senior non-commissioned officers get orders to Korea, they send you to die. Either you're going to lose your rank, or you're going to DUI, you're going to mess with underage, all these things, and that was never me. So a bunch of us got sent to Korea. A bunch of really good soldiers, Josh Brooks, Rennie Rivera, he got kicked out of the range at the time. So all of us bonded together in Korea and said, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to build ourselves back up. I was there for 2 years. So after my second year, I became the senior non-commissioned officer over the SHARP program, 2ID.
Damn.
Moved me out of 2-9 Manchu, and they moved me into the division to be sharp. So I didn't know what sexual harassment, sexual. So I didn't know none of this program that they was just developing. Learned a good skill set. Came back and said, you know what, it's time for me to get out. So my sergeant major saw me in the hallway. It was like, you supposed to have been out since 2007 or 8. Why are you still here? I'm scared. I'm crying. And he was like, don't be scared. There's a life for you out there. You're a smart soldier. And that's when I started my med board process.
Yeah, that's amazing because I still talk to a lot of senior non-commissioned officer, I mean, some officer who reluctant right to transition because, the things you've been doing for 15, 16, 10 years, 25 years, whatever the case may be, now you have to pivot,
Yes.
and I don't look at it as you starting a new career. It's just you pivoting to a different profession. A lot of folks are somewhat reluctant to really make that overall decision, to transition. Well, transition in a different way. I tell folks, if you ETS, what I'm saying, retire or go through the medical board process, transition is inevitable. It's going to happen. It's going to happen each year. You're putting the right system in place to make sure when the time comes for you to make that decision, because it can happen just like that. We'll have the transition and you will have to face it. And you just talk about something I want to just go back to, if you don't mind, in terms of the command climate, how you were treated, and the Army is a very close. I can't speak for the other branches of service. It's a very close organization, and it's a organization across the U.S. military that consists of people from different walks of life, different states, different country, whatever. Bring their own value in. Well, of course, we have the Army core value in place, but sometimes people can make the wrong decision to treat folks bad, like how you was treated. And that's something I think the Army need to combat more, in terms of talk about it more. We can do all the training, do all the daggone briefing, but folks in the military that I experienced myself have their own belief to look at you and not a little bit differently. And I think it's unacceptable. I think you need to stop. It's just me, just my overall assessment of it. But I applaud you for navigating that very, very successfully and transitioning. Senior non-commissioned officers, I had a problem with signing first class. I couldn't stand them because they're just a piece of work if you think about it. But signing first class, for me, being a signing first class, one of the best rank and position that I had, because for us to refer to as smoke,
Yeah.
you smoke, so it's a whole different ball game. In terms of the rank and position you had so far, I just want to go back. Which rank or which position you said was your best and why?
Best position. Um, Probably an E5. I had more fun. More fun with the guys, tagged in with them. Was
Yeah.
part of Colt platoon fisters, after if you're a fister,
Oh
so it was top of the top. We won best gun, all these things we did,
man.
and I was a hard charger. You know what I'm saying? So it's like once that Kevlar go on that vest, it's game time. You know what I'm saying? Fire for effect, adjust fire, all these things that we doing. I'm best BT, all these things, and I'm competitive with my young guys. So I had platoons of like 27 guys, 30 guys, 16. So that was my best. You know what I'm saying, overall, because in combat, you get to really control your guys at that level and be locked in with them. When I'm 86, now you got all these other E5s underneath you controlling the guys. And you make E7, you got 2, 3 E6s. But so now, in Korea, it was different. I was a match. I was over all my fisters. So I had 35 of them jokers plus some E6s with me. So now it's just like, okay, it is what it is. And I'm young. I look like a baby, but it's like I've been through some things. Don't try me.
Yeah, you talk about fire for effect. Man. We're going to come and scoop you up, take you on the deck or Pete, man. You can cover fire out there or something. It seems that you kind of miss it. Yeah, I spent some time in Korea. I was over at Camp Casey on the rotation, not too long. It was for 10. Yeah. Oh, you was at Casey?
Yeah, I was a Manchu, 2-9.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. 210 Fires Brigade up there. We did a quick rotation there and came back. So it was lovely.
What
Yeah.
year was
So very recent, I went to Korea 2016 when I was at Battalion here. Yeah, 2016.
Okay, so I left there 12 and 13. So
Oh, okay. Yeah, 2016. Nothing changed really. I think they just moved everybody down to Humphreys because Humphreys is the biggest military base now. So a lot of folks move from different installation, went to Humphreys. I believe that's what happens. And what was so ironic to me, I'm over at Casey, right? We went down to Osan Air Base for the first time. I was pissed off. So we
nice.
will be leaving the there, in the project. Air Force guys living nice over here, man. They got restaurants and
Nice.
good barracks. Chow hall
Yeah,
is nice.
yeah. Dragon
That's
Hall rounds, all these things. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they
yeah, it was
always.
pretty.
Yeah.
The Air Force always got the good stuff, man. That's amazing. I read one of your quotes, and if you don't mind, just want to share that with you. One of your rules of engagement, you call it, right? IRE. And one of them said, I think you said, as I quote, you said, without emission is noise. 30 is power. If you can unpack that for me.
Well, we could all be screaming in the same situation, trying to do distance description. What I'm saying? Point. It's just like in combat. But if you have no clarity to it, we don't have no purpose. We don't know where we're doing. We might be dropping bombs on the wrong target. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, you don't want to do that because be brought up on the red carpet. So you gotta have a lot of clarity with what you're saying in your mission. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people have the same mission, but the reason why other people excel is because my communication is different from yours, and that's what I'm doing now. I'm articulating. I'm letting them know this is what it looks like for me. This is what. And I was quiet for too long. You know what I'm saying? When I
Yeah.
went through a lot of things, you know what I'm saying? But I'm like, look at ain't nobody really talking about them golden years from '02 to 2010. That all these kids that went to Iraq and Afghanistan, what happened to that? Them. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying that's all we was running that I went back to back like the Lakers. '02, '03, '04, '05, '06, '07. I did a 15-month tour. We thought we were going home. And all of a sudden it's like, okay, we're gonna pay you $1,000 to stay an extra 3 months. What is this? But people don't talk about that because yeah, we came back and we lost a lot of guys, but we was affecting our families like crazy. You know what I'm saying? Crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like our kids, they didn't understand that. It gives me chills because my kids 25, 19, 15, still like I got to work on forgiveness with them because I'd rather pave a way to make sure they good, but still like coming back mentally, I got to introduce myself to my kids. And I didn't, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't married. So now I got to make sure that whatever they've been hearing since I've been gone, daddy loved you. I'm here. Let's, you know what I'm saying? Let's figure this out. So,
Yeah. It's a lot to really digest, and you're absolutely right. So 20 2006, I was in Iraq myself. Were you there at that time, 2006,
yeah.
doing the
Well,
service?
yes, I was, no, so '06 to '08, I did my 15-month tour, but my first tour was 2004.
Yeah, '06 to '08. They 15 months tour as well. I was over in Spiker,
So, yeah, okay,
Winter
you was
Creek.
in I was Missoula. You was in,
Oh, okay.
the crit out. So I was in Summerall, Ice Spiker in the first tour, 2004, but Missoula for the 15-month tour.
Yeah, we did a lot of mission over at Mosul, and it was
Yeah,
15 months. We had the same thing where I tell folks it's supposed to be a full month rotation because we went there as the mission we're doing is pretty unique. You couldn't sustain that mission for more than 4 months. We did 4 months, and what happened at the time, we fought directly under McChrystal at the time because he was in charge of all the SF guys, whatever the case would be, and he showed up. You know how it is, right? Before he showed, they had some steaks and lobster at the bottom. I like, oh, what's going on now?
yeah,
Give a little speech. Oh, we need you guys to stay here for a couple of months. I said, all right,
yeah,
no problem. Extra 4 months, what happened? Same thing again, repeat fire, right? Steaks, lobster on the grill. I said, hey man, it just said we're gonna be here for 15 months, and then 15 months later we was there. But it was fun. It was fun. Yeah. So you were absolutely right in terms of the timeline you just stated from that 2006 what was happening, the back and forth rotation, the things folks was doing, and I applaud you for doing that, and you coming back safely. Those are those invisible wounds folks don't talk about. Physically, you look good, but mentally, some things, we've all been experiencing. I want to explore your transition into what you're doing now in terms of the public speaking and the motivation to speak here and the things you're giving back, the education piece. How did you get into that? Because you could have, like you said, you got out, you got your PMP, going to school, and you were very educated guy. You love school for some reason. I look at your profile. How much time he had to go to school? I was doing a lot. But what got you into it in terms of the motivation of speaking?
Well, after I got out the military, I had to take care of my mental first. So I did 77 days of inpatient. I was went through 4 suicide ideation. So I struggled a lot trying to find myself, moving to Florida, and then I moved here. Broke up with my fiance, and I said I'm gonna stay here. Started a security company, and then start going to school just to make money. My associates and bachelor's of sports medicine, and then all of a sudden, my security company blew up. And then after COVID, I went bankrupt because I didn't know business. So I went to go
Yeah.
get my master's in business and lock in with my doctorate in business so I can teach everybody like me that want to know business because we know hustling, but we don't know business. And losing my business was my baby. And it almost took my life again. And
Mm.
now out of that smoke, out of that fire arises the top motivational speaker in the world because now I have all these experiences that I was ashamed of, that I was told to not talk about.
Yeah.
Now I talk about it because I have nobody over my head to say, don't do that.
That's profound because you were right though, because those are things we don't talk about. Like we talked about earlier, why in uniform, you even going to see behavioral health, it's a problem. Why you going to see behavioral health? So for me, what me and my commander did when I was back at Germany, when we stood up a brigade, I ensured that the behavioral health, folks were in the brigade headquarters. Everybody could see it was 9 and 10 hot heading. You can see it. If you need help, go up there. I went up there and talked to him myself, because commander have to set the stage. We all have problems, no matter who you are. You all have a problem. If we create that climate to where folks are somewhat reluctant to speak to somebody who provides help, it's going to manifest sooner or later. It's something, man. It's over amazing. So how can the person, get into motivational speaking? I don't want to be a motivational speaker. I'm just asking how, what are some things for you? How was your transition into it? Was there anything you had to do, coaching and learning and having some mentors and watching YouTube videos? What are some things you did to prepare you to be a renowned motivational speaker?
Actually just, operating my gift, right? So my father's a bishop, my grandfather's a minister. I've been running from it. I've been articulating when I give mission briefs, all that stuff. Then I took a public speaking course in the army, in Korea. And just trying to up my ante of what I'm doing. And then all of a sudden, when I started to speak after my bankruptcy, it was healing to me, telling my story. And then it started cultivating and capturing people and understanding. And the guy was like, that's what you do. That's your gift. You ran from it too long. Your dad's a minister, your grandfather's a minister, you know how to talk, but you got to create your image. I used to be, ashamed of my story coming from California, my mother dying of AIDS, her being homeless, being a crack baby, all these things I was ashamed of. God was like, tell it all. Show the ugly, show the world the ugly, and look where you at now. And that's why I wear the hat and the Nikes when I get on the stage, because I am a veteran, but also I come from the hood, but also I am educated. So play with me.
Yeah, because you're right. Because folks are real quick to somewhat, define you as what you look like, because what to say, right? Your appearance can be something very, very profound, because folks come up with their own conclusion. Just looking at you, just the image, well, I've seen exactly what's inside of you and what you can present to the overall to your overall community. So I applaud you for that. Couple of fire mission here, man, if you don't mind. I'm giving you. I know you 13 Fox love to send down fire mission. 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm trying to sleep.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, I'm trying to sleep. Got some sleep on the deck and OP. Mentors. How important it is to you, to have a mentor, because you are a mentor, you're a life coach, and how can a person go about, what would be some suggestion from you to say, for you to solicit or ask for a mentor, this is what I think you should do.
Right. So there, I guess the pool of motivational speakers and life coaching mentors it's packed. It's an $8 billion industry. But I urge people that search for mentorship or coach or just someone just to be overhead of them and give them advice. Make sure they're doing the same thing that you're asking them to do, right?
Yeah.
So I tell people all the time, I cannot tell you about a Mercedes if I never drove it. So it's a lot of people out here having mastery course systems on life coaching and motivation and just trying to make money off people, but you're not a master of your own self. So beware of them people too. So I was a stickler like that in the military. That's why a lot of people love me or they hate me. If you
Yeah.
go tell your guys to run 5 miles, why don't you run with them? Well, if you're doing a PT test with you, why don't you do it with them? If you're a leader, we lead by example, and if this is part of the Army standards, when you make E67, it doesn't mean don't show up to formation late. It means you got to harder. You got to be there. Yeah, sometimes we got a lot going on, and I got my E6 to take care of it. But also, you got to show face. You got to be there. So if I'm telling you to do something, and I'm getting up on the stage, you better be damned that I'm gonna try to look okay. I'm 44 years old. Yeah, I still work out. I hurt, my body hurt, my hand. I got stitches in my head. Everything goes on. But if I'm doing this because it's saving my life, and I'm trying to save your life. But also, my value is gonna pay for that.
That's amazing. Best and worst do the station. I mean, you out now, you can talk about it, best and worst do the station.
The best is still a journey. You know what I'm saying? I love.
You got to keep make sure you keep it G14 classified, man. Germany.
We was outside. You know what I'm saying? Sprechen Sie Deutsch. We was out there. But my worst doing station probably was Korea because of the lockdowns and stuff like that, the curfews. I have fun. I didn't get in no trouble, but it's just like,
Yeah.
wow. Just I guess, even it probably saved my life because I probably would have been on a mid team going back over to Afghanistan. But what I didn't tell people that when I got out the military, a 2-year window, I was a security contractor in Afghanistan. So I went right back into the same stuff that was making me sick, but I only knew that. And that's what's
Yeah.
wrong with it. It's just like we only go for what we know. Get off the couch and learn something new. The military gave us something for us to believe in, but that's why a lot of people, when they get out the military, they die mentally or they die physically because you don't want to do no more working out. You don't want to do anything. You just want to play video games. No, you've got a whole new life. Go do something. Unless you just want to be retired and fish all day, do that. But I feel like I got a lot more purpose I got to give to people.
That's amazing, man. Best and worst advice someone have given you that you can recall.
Worst advice is focus on one thing.
Mm.
This generation and how we came up, even in combat, we was we wasn't just focused on, we was focused on everything. Sectors of fire, calling for fire, our people, our men, the truck count, the dismounts, everything, making sure. So the guys like us that are combat, our business savvy is different because we can do a bunch of things at once and be great at it. So I would say, that was the worst advice somebody told me. Hey, just focus on that. The best advice is just be who you are, be authentic, fine. You'll know it's your purpose when you wake up and you want to do it. You know what I'm saying? If you wake up, you be like, I hate these people, then that's not what God wants you to do.
Something you wish you would have changed while serving. You looking back at your military career, you're like, man, I wish I would have done this differently.
Uh, no, it's not even me. It's probably just, leadership. Even me, I wasn't married. So my son was born. He was born in that 15-month rotation. They didn't send me home because I wasn't
Mm.
married. I wish that, and it wasn't because of the army. It was the leadership. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Because I was
leadership. Yeah.
So I wish that, I wasn't targeted like that because that affected me a lot. I still remember it that I wasn't able to go see my baby boy. He's 19 now and we
Mm.
best friends. But at the end of the day, I would love to have changed that. And also, you know what I'm saying, I want to be able to get into these programs and after these guys are transitioned and go to every post and just help them and talk to them and life coach and motivate and get a contract with them and let them know someone like me that did this, that, and the third is out here doing this and you can do it too.
Appreciate you, man. Any last comment for the folks out there?
Yeah. Just you guys know what time it is. I'll be at the Military Influencer Conference. Tap in with me, the Hood Motivator, Dr. McIntyre, JayR. Man, I'm looking forward. 2026 is looking bright. My life coaching, my speaking engagements are all bubbling right now. I'm on a tear to be the number one motivational speaker because I feel like I'm a little
Yes,
bit
sir.
of everybody that's at the top right now. David Goggins, Eric Thomas, Les Brown. I'm a little bit of all that together. Zig Ziglar, all these guys, I am a part of that. But now this is a new generation and hopefully they welcome me. If not, then, I'm military. I'm going to take it by force.
Appreciate you, man. Where folks can find you because I know you on LinkedIn because I'm on LinkedIn, of course.
Yeah.
What the platform? How folks can get a hold of you if they want to use you in terms of consulting, in terms of as a leadership coach, and just in contact? How can they get in contact with you? And what are some things folks can go and see your work?
Go to LinkedIn, JayR McIntyre, Instagram, the Hood Motivator with the A, the, and the eight motivator, YouTube, and then I have a school app. So I have a school community that I'm dropping October 1st that I'll be posting to LinkedIn. If you want to join, I will be coaching there probably twice a week. Then I have my life coaching classes that only take 10 clients. I got 7 right now. So you know what I'm saying? If that's what they want to do, I'm here. I'm authentic. I'm gonna tell you the real. If you don't want the real, then go pick you another coach. That's it.
Appreciate you, man. I keep saying if I had your left arm, I'd chop off my legs off, man. You got a lot of stuff going on. And really, man, I really appreciate you, man. I appreciate you because you are one of the humblest person that I know.
Thank you,
You're
brother.
taking time to assist me and support my platform and just put the message out there. But what is more profound for me and to you is your messaging. It's authentic, it's clear, it's precise, but it's inspirational, it's motivation. But most important is educational.
Right.
So I want to say I really appreciate you despite our contentions. You've been a Fox. I'm a Bravo. I'm not going to hold that against you. And hopefully, you're not the Dallas Cowboy fans. I'm an Eagle guy, so that's just going to mess up the whole rotation here, man. But I really appreciate you, man. Thanks for what you're doing.
Thank you, brother.
Because you set an example for a lot of folks out there in the military who are somewhat still reluctant to transition because they don't know exactly their path or what am I going to do. So if you have any question out there, please, get in contact with this man. He knows exactly on what to do and how he can lead you through your transition. So really, I really appreciate you, brother, and really God bless you, man, and thanks for sharing your story.
Thank you, man.